Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. And just traditional, starting that we're doing now. This percentage is wrong.
What percentage?
The percentage of
Oh,
beehives, man. It ain't right. Ain't right.
I'm gonna not run around and watch you chop down trees this episode.
I would say I'm not going to chop down trees this episode, but that's a lie. I already forgot what the hell do we feed these guys? Flowers?
Yeah, flowers to breed them.
So we can just breed some more when if two of them will ever come out of their house at one time. They've been being very sneaky about only.
I don't understand them. Like, why? What makes them come out? Like, I thought they just come out every day, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to feed this guy a flower until his partner, or her partner, or whatever is near. But no.
Oh, we need glowstone in here. Okay, this is not done. Okay.
Glowstone. Oh,
I went to go see like
over there.
Yeah, I didn't know.
You're
I didn't
back to
remember
that
where we
project.
left it off. Yeah.
So I'm sure with your daughter, you've had, plenty of books that you've bought throughout the years for kids' books for, reading. And I know you've graduated onto like adult books and, Harry Potter, this, that, the other. But back when she was younger, you had like kids' books and stuff.
Yeah.
So, my son, he's got certain kids' books that he really likes, some that he doesn't like. Some little kid books he still wants to read every night, even though they're like, one word on the page. It's like car, it's like, why do you want to read this book again? Yeah, we all of a sudden then went and turned around and read Green Eggs and Ham that you also, enjoyed reading.
Right.
But there's this book, a Richard Scarry book, and I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it's one that has on every page, it's the baby bee still. This guy hadn't grown up yet. On every page, it's just a bunch of pictures of animals and chaotic scenes of, like fire trucks and this, that, the other, like all cartoon drawn. And he finds the book hilarious. Oh, we got a tall tree here. But there's a little thing called a gold bug that's hidden somewhere on every page. It's a little teeny like bug who's gold, and his name is Goldbug, and he's hidden in every single scene somewhere. And God, Jack finds this the most hilarious thing that's like ever happened in life. Like now that
and at this point he's got to know where they're all at.
Right. At this point now, it's just he always wants to see Goldbug, so I'll go, let's do a couple pages, because it's like a 60-page book. But I'm like, okay, we'll go through a couple pages of it tonight. But now he's memorized where he's at on every one of them. But there's this one that he's on the side of a little tractor, and he's on the side of it, and it's one of the ones where he's not like in a car. You can see his entire body. And he's like just a little bug, so his feet are there. So Jack's determined that he's dancing on the side of it. So every time we get to that page, he goes, "Dude, Daddy, he's dancing on the side!" And he jumps up and he dances. He shows me his dancing sideways, even though it's just this picture in a book. But so he got really into this. So there's a couple other books that we came across that we have that are find it type books, but they're more adult oriented. I don't mean like nudie pictures, but adult oriented. They're for
find the boobies, Jack.
Find the boobies. Well, I don't know. We used to go to the bar all the time, and they had those those bar top games that you could play.
Yeah.
And there was always the hidden picture one. It was like the really popular one that everybody wanted to play. The normal one, for some reason, nobody liked playing the normal one, but men, women alike. Nobody liked playing the normal one. You always played the XXX rated one. I mean, that was just like typical for the bar scene in the area where I grew up barring at.
Barring.
But not adult ones. I mean more just... they're more difficult to do. So one of those we had, it's funny because it's like a cross between a kid's one and an adult one, because it's the alphabet, and like the first page is the A page, so it's an alligator, and inside the alligator is drawn a bunch of like little teeny alligators and all these different different kinds of alligators. And in the top right corner of it, it will tell you like alligator. Find this particular alligator in the picture somewhere. So it's really freaking hard, because it's like everything
bunch
is
of alligators
blended
and-
together. There's like hundreds of alligators on this page, so it's way more advanced. But Jack still likes to like look at it and play with it. But I'll tell you, this book. The first time I looked at this book, I'm like, oh, sure, well, we'll check this one out. We'll see if this one's any good. And I opened it up, and I stared at this alligator page for fucking 20 minutes, unable to find this goddamn alligator. And, of course, Jack, after a while, is getting bored. But he doesn't want to quit the book. He just wants me to show him where the alligator's at because, you know, we can't find the alligator. And I'm like, I finally find one that looks like the one in the corner, but it's tilted. So like if the one was, you know, the picture, it would be like the picture of that alligator was at the 3 o'clock position instead of the 12 o'clock position. You know, it was just the whole thing was rotated. And I was like, holy shit, if this book is going to be like all these animals are going to be rotated, this is going to be like the most difficult picture book ever to go through with a child, like with a 3-year-old, because you're not even just looking for that picture. You're looking for that picture in any orientation on the page right here.
Right.
It's just going to be terrible. So I put the book down and was like, you know what? We looked at this thing for too long. This is clearly way too like advanced for the both of us, like right now.
Neither one of us.
So, you know, ignored this book and we tried some other books that were similar to it, but they're either way too advanced or way too easy is really what it comes down to. There's no real good books like the Richard Scarry one with the gold bug that's really funny. Like nothing else is like on that level that we found.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, Jack pulls that one off of his bookshelf again, the alligator one, and he's like, let's do this one, let's do more of this one. And I'm like, fine, like, okay, we'll see, but like, maybe we can make a little bit more progress in it. I shit you not, the alligator, the only one that's off orientation. Why? No idea. That sets up the whole premise.
Yeah, like, they like set you up to be
you assume the entire book's gonna be that way. And then I found there was in the back, I didn't go far enough. In the back, it shows like every single page. It's like got like 2 pages where it spawns out the whole alphabet in the mini pictures, and it circles it and shows you like where it is, like the answer key in case you can't find it. So I have gone through this entire book with him now, and granted, it's still very difficult. Like he still can't find the animals in it because it's a little too complex for a 3-year-old still, because it's just like very hard to do, but he likes to look at the pictures. But I have no idea why they would make be the only one that was off kilter compared to the picture. It baffles me because it just set up like a bad precedent for this whole book.
Makes you just quit like you did, basically.
Yep, quit after 20 minutes of staring at this thing, for one, not knowing there was an answer key, but for two, just going like, oh wow, this is gonna be like too much for us when we figure this thing out. I don't know, what kind of books was your daughter into when you were
now
younger?
She's doing a lot of graphic novels now, actually.
Comics?
So like
Is that
not
your favorite
comics.
comic?
I mean, you know, do you know the difference between like a comic and a graphic novel?
Clearly not.
Okay, so like a comic, I mean, I guess really the main difference is the length. Like one is like literally like a whole, it's like a chapter book almost, but with pictures. Like it's set up very much like a comic. It's basically a comic, but just longer, I guess. Really is the best way to describe it. There might be some other difference. I don't know. What's that?
Can't comics be long? Like any length you want them
I
to
don't
be?
I don't know if, because kind of like, you know, there's novels and there's novellas, like and there's like rules for that.
This is like the taco versus burrito discussion.
Well, no, because there's set rules for these things at least. But I don't know the answer to your question. Like I don't know when it goes from being a comic to a graphic novel. Maybe the difference between a comic and a graphic novel is you have a whole story there. So like a comic, you know, it's going to be like an episode of a television show, right?
But you can have book series of books.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have series of these graphic novels too. Like for instance, Walking Dead is a graphic novel. Like they didn't start off as a TV show; it started off as a graphic novel. I don't know the difference. Let's Google it.
I'm not Googling it now, but of course, the same problem I'm having with any fucking like interesting news article now is this website is titled "Comic Book versus Graphic Novel. What's the difference?" And there's no TLDR. It's just a wall of text that I'm not going to sit here and read this wall of text. I want you to give me the here we go. This one. This whatever I'm on now. It's called knowledgenuts.com. It literally starts out with the top paragraph says "in a nutshell" and gives me the answer, and then it says the whole bushel, and then it gets into that wall of text. So this is how you do your websites, people. Go to knowledgenuts.com. That's the way it is. Calling something a graphic novel is not just a fancy way of saying comic book. There's a very clear difference between the two. Graphic novels are much longer and tend to be more complex. While a comic book will tell a story over many issues, graphic novels more often have their storylines wrapped up in only 1 or 2 books. That does not really answer the question, because that tried
it was literally the same thing, I guess.
It was. The funny thing is, though, it tries to make a definitive answer about something that's not definitive.
Yeah.
Literally saying there are clear differences. Graphic novels are longer and tend to be more complex, while comic books will tell a story over many issues. Graphic novels have only 1 or 2. Is that always true? Are you telling me there's not a comic book that's only 1 or 2, or that there's not self-contained comic books that are really long?
And there's definitely comic books that are like 1 or 2, because I've read those. I googled it too. And one of the things I saw, you started reading, so I stopped reading basically. But one of the quick things I saw was that the material used is also different. Like graphic novels tend to be like harder form, like for the front and back and stuff, whereas comic books are like a magazine basically.
And I would somewhat be able to buy that, except for I would also think that you could print any one on the other paper and still call it that, and not
like for instance, like the graphic novel she just finished reading was called Be Prepared, and it's just like it's a book basically, and it's like 400 pages. So like it's way bigger than a comic book. You know what I mean? It looks like a book, but then when you open it, there's pictures on every page. But it looks like a novel basically. So that's been like tonight before bed.
When
she
you say
read
looks like a novel, how much wording is in it?
No, in terms of words, it's very much like a comic book. So like Dogman is another one of the ones. Captain Underpants. I'm sure you've heard of Captain Underpants. You probably saw the movie and stuff like that.
But is it speech bubbles?
No. So well, sometimes, yeah. It's very much a comic book.
I'm just trying to figure out what would make it different, a graphic novel different than even just a kid's book. Because isn't a kid's book kind of like a graphic novel then, based on that definition? Clearly, people don't use those as to describe the same thing, but it's.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure there's some kids' books that you could be called a graphic novel.
Curious George, is that a graphic novel? Because there's pictures on every page.
Yeah, but it's set up like frames like a comic book. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, yes. Whereas the Curious George is like the frames are a page.
Right. I guess that matters. Matters to someone.
I guess that's the thing it never really told me. Maybe it assumes you know the answer to that. Like, I guess what's the difference between a graphic novel and a novel with pictures?
Right.
Is it the fact that it's set up with comic book frames? Is that really what makes it a graphic novel?
I guess. I really feel like the main thing is the term novel versus a comic book is like an episode, and a novel is self-contained, even if it does have a sequel.
So comic books are the TV series. Graphic novels are the after series movie that has to wrap up the loose ends that they didn't
exactly. Yeah, because it's got like a beginning, middle, and an end, basically. Whereas a comic book's got, welcome back to episode 42, sort of thing.
Which is the beginning of that comic book.
Right, but I mean, you're probably, on the last episode, Superman did the thingamajig, you know what I mean? So like, you're still continuing a story. It's not like, all right, here's character introduction and all that type of shit.
So I guess that's the interesting part, because comic books, I guess probably all of them don't have an end, because they'll still be ongoing.
Right.
But I was gonna wonder, like, what would, if it was in like book form, What would a soap opera be considered then? Just like the never-ending comic book?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
God,
I don't know what soap operas are.
well, didn't they just say that The Young and the Restless just got like renewed for its 65th season or something ridiculous like that?
I don't know. My grandma still watched. I think it's General Hospital, and I swear that shit was on when I was a kid.
Oh, it was. It was absolutely was. General Hospital. I find it kind of funny too because they really are. I don't know. I just looked up General Hospital like itself. I probably need to Wikipedia or something like that to give me the time that it started. Right.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's the one. Is that one still running?
Premiered April 1st, 1963.
Jesus Christ.
Is it still running? Let's find out. Yeah, I don't know which ones are still going and which ones aren't.
That's why I'm not sure if that's the one she watches or not.
Reflected. I'm just trying to see if there's a running time. It says two present. 19.
It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, 60,
like
it started out as 30-minute episodes in 63 to 76, and it must have been so popular they increased it to 45-minute episodes for 2 years. And then in 78 to present, it's been 60-minute episodes.
Jesus Christ. I just can't imagine. I don't know. I mean, I guess, the people that follow this stuff, they're into it and, whatever. That's cool.
Well,
I just can't imagine watching something that long.
I do
like
find
my whole life.
I do find it entertaining that it literally can just go on forever. So you could, it's almost like I get sad when series end.
Right.
So it's kind of like that thing that you can watch that's just never going to end. Well, watch, if I got into General Hospital, I'd probably end next week just because it'd be like,
right.
It'd be like, now that you've got into it and we're canceled. But I do want to know, like, nowadays, what truly makes a soap opera different than anything else that you could potentially get off of, Netflix or whatnot? Whereas I know back in the day, wasn't it something to do with the fact that it was a daily show or 5 days a week or whatever, as opposed to whereas a series that you would another type of series.
God, are they literally 5 days a week? So that show's been making 5 episodes a week since the 60s.
What constitutes something as a soap opera is the question I was going to ask.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what makes something a soap opera? They're serial dramas that examine the lives of many characters, usually focusing on emotional relationships to the point of melodrama. The term soap opera originated from such dramas typically being sponsored by soap and detergent manufacturers in the past. That's interesting because by that definition, though, like any drama, any TV drama is a soap opera, right?
Do they even still use that term? Is that still
maybe they don't. Maybe that term is gone.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did they just not have? Because ever since I was a little kid, that I knew the difference between like one TV show to the next. General Hospital, Young and the Restless. I'm trying to think what else there was back in the day, but those were definitely terms that well-known soap operas,
right?
Versus any other drama that was on at the time. So
I feel like the thing that was also super popular in that same time period where we were kids was the Daily Talk Show. And I know that they
like
still exist, like Maury and whatever.
Williams.
But like, you remember Donahue? Donahue?
Yeah,
Phil Donahue.
Yeah, very
like,
popular. Jerry Springer was clearly the popular one in our age group because it was so seductive and racy,
Right. Drama.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, they still exist, but I feel like they're not as popular as they used to be. Maybe they are. And I just don't realize it.
Didn't they kind of switch over to from that being the popular type of genre, those type of shows, like they still exist, but they're things like Ellen and Oprah, which clearly has been going on since then. More positive attitude shows
maybe
versus, because I feel like all those were supposed to be based off of drama. And clearly Jerry Springer took it to the extreme. Right. But it was.
Did you know Jerry Springer is I guess he was a judge back then before. I think he got like everything he needed before he was a mayor. But did you know he's got like a judge show now?
I did not. Like right now I can go watch Jerry Springer doing that stuff.
Yeah, you go watch Jerry Springer and he's like, Judge Mathis or any of those other Judge Judy. He's one of those.
Really? Is it entertaining?
Yeah. I don't know. I saw it on at my grandma's house the other day, and that's all I know
See,
is that it exists.
those are more shows that it's sad though that you find out how much they're, you know, staged, which you know, coerced into, not really coerced, but trying to get people to really overact something that is true. I get, but when you find out like blatant fakery, then I'm just kind of like, you know, I have heard that some of those, I think it was Jerry Springer, that it technically wasn't fake, a lot of it, but they really encouraged people to go all out, and they did script when the fights were going to happen.
Really?
And that's kind of like, that kind of like ruins it a little bit for me that you scripted that when these fights are going to happen. It talks about like how, notice every time that there's a fight, Jerry's always at one specific spot off the stage, like, you know, or a couple spots on the sides of the stage, but he's never in the middle of the action. Like, he's always gone before the fight starts taking place. But I did hear that they like took the contestants out to like lunches and stuff before taping and encouraged them to pretty much drink extremely heavily. Like,
really?
Like times.
That's fantastic.
They would be like more open and crazy about some of their stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how true it is, but you know, it's.
I can believe that.
But I've heard a lot of Judge Judy stuff is completely fake. I've heard that she's not even a real judge.
I don't know if that's true. I do know that like the verdicts don't have to be upheld or anything like that. Like it's just a show for fun, really.
So then they move on over to the real courtroom.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that would kind of suck though. Let's pretend that those are real cases, and those just aren't necessarily the verdict. Those verdicts are just for, you know, for the show. If that's first, whoever just lost can tailor their reason for losing and present their case in a different way.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they get paid enough to go on the show. They don't care about that shit anymore.
They just draw. Since it's a small claims court anyway, it's only up to what? Didn't they increase small claims court to like $10,000 now?
Wow, is it that high?
I think so. I know it used to be 5, but I thought they increased it at some point.
That's crazy. That's a lot.
For small claims? I mean, is it really that much though?
I mean, that's a big small claim.
I mean, it's a big small claim, but I think it's because it's supposed to be an easier process to get through than going through like, I don't know, what's the next step up from small claims? Is it just like district court?
Yeah.
Like if I'm trying to sue you because I hired you to do a contracting gig that cost, you know, $7,000.
Yeah.
Am I going to take you to actually district court and try to get money on a lawyer for that, or do a small claims court thing that's supposed to be a cheaper alternative for those smaller sums of money that you don't want to clog up the,
right,
you know, the higher level with?
I guess that makes sense. Just seems, I don't know, seems like a high number, but I guess maybe not. When you put it that way.
I don't know how true it is either, though. What I said, it could be completely, could be fake. Could still be $5,000.
Fake news, Jeff. All right. Well, I think we're out of time, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed. Hope you've learned a lot.
The learning
about small
channel.
claims. Yep, we are here with all the facts.
Never mind.
We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.